Welcome to another session of the Guardian Alliance. Today we're going to have an open Q&A. I invite you to come in with me and ask any questions that are burning on your heart about the Guardian Alliance and about our upcoming courses. It's a challenging time right now. We all have huge changes going on in our lives. We are trying to birth projects. We are trying to get our stuff together. We are trying to balance with our relationships. We're trying to work and make enough money and do what we got to do to have our lives feel like they're all together. Well, some of that can be pretty tough sometimes. As we look at our lives each day, we wake up, we get up in the morning, and sometimes there's a drive and there's an energy and we're ready to go. We're ready to get it. We're going to take on life. And other days you get up and you're not quite sure how to begin. You're not quite sure what you can do today to make a difference in your life and in your world. And it's times like these, and also for other people, it's late at night, before they go to bed. They've just been working all day. They've been trying to decompress. They're trying to clear their minds. They're watching episodes on TV or, watching a movie to kind of get themselves yin enough to fully feel themselves and feel relaxed for the day. And sometimes getting to that point of total relaxation, getting to that point where you feel comfortable and relaxed and are able to decompress, sometimes that can be very challenging. And for each of these scenarios, practices are the key that help us to unlock the flows of energy that get us going in the morning, that can help us decompress, clear our minds, calm things at night. And throughout the day, we run into all kinds of challenges: physical challenges, emotional challenges, mental challenges. We have unexpected phone calls. We have unexpected announcements. We discover over an email that something really intense is going on for somebody else in our lives. Or we see it on Facebook that there's this other huge thing going on in the world that it feels like we can do nothing about. Practices. Practices are the key. They are the life force, the fuel that keeps the Jedi together. They help return us home. They take us out of the field of the spinning mirror where we're constantly in this self-reflective process, seeing our challenge, our challenge, our challenge, our challenge. We have to come back to center. We have to realign with the Jed within. Find that central pillar that really helps us stand in our full integrity and presence. And from that center, from that pillar of awareness, we can do anything. All of the challenges, all of the tangles, all of the myriad dynamics of life become simple. They're simply a part of your living evolutionary journey. They teach you. They have things to show you. There are reasons for those challenges that come into our lives. Now, the things that we face happen on a lot of different levels. As I've said, we have physical challenges sometimes. Maybe you have pain. Today, I've got kind of a crick back here in my shoulder, and I can't turn my neck very well. I'm like, oh man, and I feel it. It's a physical pain. And so as I'm sitting here with you, as I'm connecting with you, I'm opening it. I'm relaxing it. I'm breathing with it. And I'm just allowing it to be. I'm allowing it to teach me whatever it has to teach me today. Sometimes we have emotional challenges. We got waves coming up and they're big, and sometimes they're just overwhelmingly huge. Sometimes they just crash over us, knock us down, knock out our bodies, knock out our thought processes, and we just are flooded in the feeling. But if we can embrace that flood of feeling, if we know how to breathe deep enough to open up the spaces where that energy is being stored, if we know how to relax our mind enough to just witness, and create a space and allow ourselves to see the origin of these energy flows inside of us, then from that deep emotional torrent, new visions and inspirations can come forth. Sometimes they're mental challenges. We can't figure it out. We can't put the pieces together. There's a tangled web of circumstances and we don't know what to do. And we try to figure it out and we try to figure it out and our mind's buzzing and we're jumping here and there and trying to access, all of the possible solutions and put the puzzle together and get the strategy down. And we don't know how to do it because there's just too many pieces. There's too many pieces of the puzzle. And so when that happens, we need to learn how to turn the lights off in our mind. We need to learn how to bring down the noise in the concert hall. We need to restore our awareness back to the place that's silent and that knows nothing. Because from that place, we can know anything. From that place of silence, we can hear the symphony. So I could talk about interpersonal challenges, communicative challenges, spiritual challenges, but I'm here to work with you. I'm here to answer your questions. So with that little intro, I'd love to open it up. And for those of you who are joining us today, I hope you're on the live sessions page in the Guardian Alliance. We have the comment feed open and I'm going to be taking questions for about the next 40 minutes or so. Don't miss the end of the call because I'm going to take you through a really deep practice that's going to help you reconnect with your Ethernet, so to speak, in the universe. And so I hope you join me for that. To begin with, I want to touch on a question from Iwa. About 15 minutes ago, Iwa wrote, and she shared that she's intuitive and she feels like she's a star walker. And she says that sometimes she does astral travel, but not while meditating, just after it while she's laying in bed at night. And she'll meditate for about an hour or an hour and a half, and she'll just close her eyes laying there in the space, and she just begins to travel. And her challenge that she's coming up against as she's awakening to this piece of ability in her, or maybe it's been there for her whole life, for some of us it has, is fear. And she hears voices, she sees things, and sometimes they're nice and sometimes they're scary. Well, Iwa, I can deeply relate with that experience. As somebody whose third eye opened a long time ago, there are periods of time where, as it's opening further, as I'm awakening to new layers of my own energy fields, I sometimes get the psychic deluge gets turned on and I start picking up on all kinds of things from, subtle things, simple things like where is my wife in my house, or where's the cat, or whatever, to there are my spirit guides that are trying to tell me something that I really need to listen to, but I'm not dropping in all the way to receive it, all the way to tuning in about stuff that's going on in the collective field and tuning into people that don't like me and don't like what I'm doing and are sending me very intense thought forms through the ethers. And so I've experienced a pretty wide gamut of those types of events, and they can be really, really scary. And it can be scary when you're just trying to surrender and just try to relax your consciousness, like before you're going to sleep. And you find as you surrender your consciousness, all of a sudden, all this additional consciousness comes up into view. It's like you've turned on the energy hose and the dashboard and your eyes are closed, but the light and the fields of energy are just pulsing, and you can feel the presence of spiritual beings. And this is something that, is an ongoing challenge for Starwalkers. It's not something that I feel like my response to you right now is going to solve for you. And again, that's something that I want to just put on the table for this whole Q&A session, is I'm not here to give you answers. I'm here to provide you with platforms and practices that you can work with to change your experience flow and to be able to stabilize things like this kind of experience. So for me, one of the things that I've learned how to do is while I'm laying there and I'm getting all of the mental voices in fields and stuff like that, is I just start practicing loving everything that I see, everything that I'm experiencing. So I just start loving myself. I start loving the places of tension and fear that are arising me. I give thanks. I give thanks for the fact that I can perceive and I can hear, and I ask questions to the field, and I say, what is it that you have to teach me, and who are you, and what is this, and are you here to serve my highest and best good? And sometimes when I ask that question, I'll get an answer that's no, because I'm tuning into some being or some person who's actually directing some really intense stuff at me. And so instead of running, instead of closing down and being like, no, all right, well, this is my field, this is my sanctuary, which I do that also. But the first step, the most important step, is to engage into the heart of that energy that is attacking you and to send love straight into the heart of it. Love is like the piercing arrow of the Cupid that breaks through all armor. And if you can just love for a second, instead of being afraid, just love, be like, oh, wow, you poor traumatized being. Like, bless your heart. Like, bless you. To the fact that you feel like you have to attack me in order to get what you need. Ah, that must be really hard not knowing what you need. Well, bless you, and may you go find what you need. This is my sanctuary. Thank you for being here, and thank you for departing. Thank you, guides and guardian angels, for protecting this sacred space. Bless you and bless this being, and carry them back to source. Let them find who they truly are. And it works. It clears the space, it clears the energy, and oftentimes, I find that, in reflection, I see transformations begin to occur for whatever those beings are, just by the opportunity to interact with me and interact with this prayer that I just had while I'm laying there in bed. The other things that I do sometimes is I just surrender open really fully. And I practice something that is really a wizardry practice, where I just step back, surrendering, and I just watch. I just watch my mind. Where is it going? What is it doing? And I just let it do what it's doing. I let all the weaves go. I just watch, and I don't attach myself to any of it. I don't participate strongly in any of it. I just let it flow, and I watch it, and I send love to it. I just love myself and accept myself for all the thoughts, all the things that are churning through my mind, and some of which may also be churning through the collective field. And from that place, I'm still, and I'm powerful, and I'm in the middle of my hurricane. And so it doesn't matter how much there is. It doesn't matter if it's scary or it's good or it's bad or whatever it is. I'm just in the center, and I'm just witnessing, just like I witnessed the world, in this time a lot with all the changes that are going on. So I hope that those couple practices will assist you in working with that. And we are going to be getting into those in more depth in both the Starwalker and the Wizard course. Those are two really important pieces. So I hope that you'll join us and explore those. So hello to Albuquerque. I used to live in Red River, New Mexico. I have some family in Albuquerque. Nice to see you here, Maxim. And yeah, so if there's any other questions that someone wants to bring up, I'd love to hear them. Beyond that one, most of these are older questions. I guess until somebody has something else to ask, another thing that she says, that's exactly what's wrong with me. One day I'm unified with the whole, with all the energy, large projects, and then I get completely empty. Why? Yeah. So Kelso, that is a dynamic of the universe, I think, in some way or another. It's either it gets full, it gets empty, it fills up, it becomes huge and overwhelming and storming, and then it empties out. And the thing is that the universe is going to do that all the time, no matter what, right? So you're going to have a period of time where life is full and active and sometimes overwhelming. And then you're going to have periods of time where it's like, yeah, nothing to do. There's emptiness, there's silence, there's nothing. And you're trying to fill it with something. You're trying to put something in there. So when it's full and overwhelming, you're trying to like get stuff off your plate. And when it's completely empty and there's nothing going on, you're trying to put stuff on your plate. And the key is not changing the dynamic. The key is actually learning how to consciously work with that dynamic and choose the areas of life that you deal with it in. You know, one of my challenges over the years, doing big projects and then like nothing, or doing like websites for individual people and like pumping and working super hard for a long period of time. And then all of a sudden there's no website clients coming in, you know, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? You know, and my waves would be like, you know, feast and famine, you know, like I've got the coffers are full, everything's good. And then all of a sudden nothing. And I've like empty chalice, and, you know, all of a sudden all of my resources are gone. And I'm put in a place where I have to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just surrender to the universe and hope that everything works out. I have no idea how I'm going to make it work out and pay my bills and deal with these things. My chalice is completely empty right now. And but the thing is that if you consciously participate in that process and you're like, all right, my chalice is empty for a reason. Okay, I'm supposed to be surrendering and letting the universe support me some more right now. I'm supposed to be acknowledging the fact that there are a lot of people whose chalice is empty all the time. They don't have things to pay for food, you know, and to deal with basic expenses in life. And it returns you to gratitude. It returns you to gratitude. It's humbling to be in those places because, you know, life is so abundant. Nature is so abundant. I mean, look all around you. Look at the trees dripping seeds. Look at the gardens just blooming flowers and all kinds of, you know, wonderful fruits and vegetables. And just look at the world. It's so full of abundance. It's incredible. And if we can just see that the way nature works, you know, is that, you know, it decomposes, it breaks things down, it composts, and sometimes it stinks when it's all breaking down to nothing. But from that nothing that it's broken down to, that nothing is actually super fertile soil. And that's what space is. That's what the emptiness is inside of us, is it's fertile soil. So we just have to decide, where are we going to have that fullness and emptiness? Is it going to be mental? Is it going to be emotional? Is it going to be physical? How are we going to participate in that alchemy of the universe? Because if we can consciously steer and drive it with our choices and say, you know, okay, like this time I'm just going to practice opening up and getting to those empty places in my mind. I'm going to let my mind be the empty space, the empty chalice for new ideas and new energies. That's going to be my container. And I want that empty chalice in my mind of opening to the mystery to be filled with things that are inspiring, that move me, that activate my destiny, that hook me up with like a deeper awareness of who I am and what I'm doing in this world. So I can rock it, so I can fly, so I can be everything that I am choosing to be. But first, I have to be empty. I have to be nothing. I have to let myself and my conceptions of myself go so that I can find that deeper wisdom about who I am. All right, a couple more comments here. Welcome, Cliff from Ontario, Kingston. And Iwa, you're very, very welcome. Let's see. Got any other comments, questions coming in on the field? Just wanted to say to Alaiti Miranda, Your place in Arizona sounds amazing. Avalon Organic Gardens. Any place by the name of Avalon is close to my heart. But that's beautiful. You guys are doing unified physics teachings there. I hope you've had a chance to check out the Resonance Academy delegate program. They're going to do another round of it soon. It's an amazing course. It's so great, so wonderful. Such an honor to work with Nassim and work with Marshall and build this like fantastic course. It's like every module of the course is, 60 to 80 pages of text. So it's definitely a big bite to chew. But it's powerful if you're willing to get into it. You can really get a deeper understanding of the physics and what's going on in the fabric of space and how it works and how the energy works. And in Ring 1, we're going to touch on some of those principles, especially in the Wizard course. We're going to be looking at some of the principles in the fabric of space that are directly related to our process of creating our reality. And so since I'm on that tip, until there's any other questions that come in, one of the big things that that we can look at from there is the process of each of these physical dynamics. So one of them, for example, is feedback. And one of the things, for those of you who took the Resonance Academy course, that we talk about is the Rubik's Cube. And if you take a blind man and you hand them a Rubik's Cube and you just ask them to solve it, they can just be working on it randomly. And if they don't have any feedback at all, it can take them 100 billion years to solve the Rubik's Cube with no feedback. 100 billion years or more is quite a long time. That's many, 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 many times the lifetime of our universe. But if you give the blind man one piece of feedback, so all you do is if he turns it and it's closer to being solved, you say yes. And if it's further away from being solved, you say no. And basically, if you follow that pattern and you just tell them yes or no, the blind man, if they're fast, they can do it in as little as 2 minutes, solve the entire Rubik's Cube without looking at it. And there's some amazing, amazing videos of this online, and you can see people where they do this, and in some cases they blindfold and they just study it and then they do it real fast. But you have to have a feedback mechanism. The universe works on feedback. Everything works on feedback. How evolution works, why the trees grow the way they are, why the bugs are the way they are, why are our bodies the way they are. It's all based on a feedback process that we're having with the universe. And that process is something that we can consciously get involved with. It's something that we can get into and get inside of. How is each action that we're taking going out into the universe? And then what is the feedback that I'm getting back from space-time and from reality around me? Our training wheels is learning how to do this with other people. So we say something to someone and they respond a certain way. Okay, we've got feedback. This is how I'm coming across. This is how my words are being received. This is how my communication is being understood, but we don't get that or realize that that's also happening when we say something out into the ethers, into nature, when we sit by a tree, when we are talking to ourselves and telling our own bodies, this is what is true. This is what I need. This is what I'm feeling. And the feedback process is happening, but sometimes we're not always listening to the other side of it. And through listening to the other side of the feedback loop, we get informed. We actually evolve. We come up against our transformations. It's hard with other people because they're like, well, you're not speaking clearly enough. Your energy is too intense for me. Like, why are you, it seems like you're upset, or it seems like you're depressed or sad or whatever that is. And when we get that feedback, we're like, well, but I'm just feeling like, what's wrong with that? We have our blame and our shame issues come up where we're not sure it's okay to be feeling what we're feeling. We're not sure it's okay to be off or be bad. We think it's, if we're doing something wrong, that something terrible is happening in the universe. But it's not. Things go wrong all the time. And the wrong going of things teaches the universe how to go right. It's because of mistakes that we learn lessons. It's because of feeling off that we find a way to feel better. It's because of the deepest challenges that I've experienced in my life that I'm sitting here right now, willing to offer my wisdom and my experience to you. That's why I'm here. If I had a life full of just privilege and amazing things, like all the time, I just had great things happen to me throughout my life, I would not be a teacher, because I'd just be content and stoked and probably really bored. And I would probably have done a lot of other things to make even worse mistakes than I made. But I made a lot of really bad mistakes in my life. And in my journey of facing the challenges and making those mistakes, I've learned a lot, and it's taught me a lot. And so part of why I'm here is just to share with you my own errors, my own mistakes, and some of the things that I've gained and the wisdom that I've learned from having to deal with really challenging life situations. So we got a few new comments coming in. Let's see if we got any good questions. From MetaWill. Dear Adam, is it normal that no submenu is popping up under the gate's entry at this point? Will it be available when Ring 1 starts in April? I precise that I have the key. Okay, MetaWill, I will happily go and check out and see what's up with your access key, for if there's a reason why your gate submenu is not showing. I have heard that in some operating systems and browsers, a few people have had hard time seeing the submenus. So what I did is I created a Gates page that basically does the same exact thing as the submenu. So if you just click on the Gates menu item, you're going to see each of the different realms, the different areas for the archetypes. And you can access the different guilds through that. So you can see the dojo, the lounge, the tower, and the temple. And whatever you have access keys to, you can get into, and you can communicate with people in those areas. And I'll also tell you that the live sessions that we're going to do for the Ring 1 courses, we're going to do those live sessions inside those guild hubs. So when we do the warrior session, we're going to do it in the dojo. When we do the weaver session, we're going to do it in the lounge, and so on and so forth up to the temple hall Stargate. So I want to let you guys know that in advance, and of course we'll be communicating that and putting direct links out and emailing you with that info. Also, we are going to start right now. We're just in the middle of big production with the Ring 1 courses and stuff like that. But when Ring 1 opens up and that production is done, we're just in the teaching and dialogue process. We're also going to be pulling a lot of additional resources, training resources, videos, audio, podcasts, and things like that. And those different areas on the site, the tower, the lounge, the dojo, will be being filled with a lot of other teachings and insights and information for people who are practicing in those skill areas, to just keep that going. And also, as we have our teachers from Ring 2 completing their courses, and as those courses are approved for Ring 2 release, we're going to have those teachers come in and do special sessions, Q&A sessions, and things like that in there. So that'll be really exciting when we get to Ring 2. I'm so stoked, and there's some amazing courses in the works right now. I was just talking with Kriana, who is going to be doing a course on how to embody bliss, how to fully feel in your body the embodied bliss. And to me, that Weaver course is one of the most crucial, because experiencing and feeling the flow of bliss inside of our bodies, and knowing that we have the power to generate an overwhelmingly amazing blissful field that nourishes us, nourishes our lives, our sensuality, our sexuality. That flow inside of us is such a gift. It's such a gift. And you know, a lot of us have explored and entered really high bliss states, you know, usually in a couple situations. Either we're having amazing sex or we are on really good drugs or we're having an amazing meditation or a realization about ourselves and our lives. Or sometimes one of the really good ones is that orgasmic bliss you reach when you cry so hard and you gush it all out, and then you come into laughter and you come into this space of like full acceptance and awareness of all of your intense feelings. That is one of the best ones. So she's going to be exploring techniques to consciously work with accessing those super deep bliss states. And so that should be pretty amazing. So we got a long message here from Sean Wolf. Let's see what he has to say. Yes, we've all been growing in a lot of ways, Sean. And thank you so much for being here as well. And yeah, he's wondering how we can digest the information we learn here to be put to many different types of people. Each person has their own path of learning. The post-New Age skeptic to the cynical scientific mind. Owning negativity for discernment seems to be their flavor, although they both think they have it sussed. Yeah. Yeah, and I remember when you came here, Sean, it's true. You know, it's like you see something new and you see some guys that are like, yeah, we're going to transform your life. Just come on into the Guardian Alliance and we're just going to rock your world, son. People are like, yeah, sure you are. Yeah, I've heard it before. There's a lot of, you know, self-mastery trainers out there, dude, you know. And yeah, there definitely are. And there's a lot of people that make a lot of big promises out there in this world to sell things and don't actually deliver on those promises at all. And in fact, you know, if you ever see anybody who says that's a get rich quick scheme, or, you know, even if I say like, I'm going to change your life. Like, the truth is no, I'm not going to change your life. You're going to change your life. So please correct me if I ever say that, because you are the only one with the power to change your life. You're the only one with the power to make the decisions that can totally transform your being. And yeah, I remember Sean, when you came and you were just like, who are these guys? What is this? Is this just another BS something or other? And then we talked about it, you know, and we got into it. And, you know, the thing is that when you get to know somebody and you get to know who they are, where they're from, and what they're bringing to the table and what their intentions are, it changes the dynamics of things. And so when you're going out into the world and you're trying to connect to different types of people, the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out who they are. You know, this is the ambassador work. This is part of the ambassador trainings. And we're going to talk about this a lot in Ring 1. But it's about basically meeting people where they are. It's about finding the place where you are in coherence already with somebody else. You know, I used to stop a lot of fights when I owned a club in Asheville, North Carolina, and also an underground resource center where we did, you know, huge after parties for, you know, String Cheese and Sound Tribe Sector 9 and other groups, big DJs also. And there sometimes would be drunk people and they get in intense fights. And, you know, the thing is that like, you can't go to two guys who are like in a really, really intense field and are like in battle mode with each other. You can't go to them and be like, guys, just calm down. Like, seriously, chill out. Like, this is totally a cool place. Like, you just need to calm down. Like, that's not going to meet them where they are. They're not in a place to be able to hear that kind of stuff, right? They're for them, they're like, no, this guy, you know? And so the best thing that you can do to meet somebody on that level is be like, man, what's up? What's up? What's going on here, dude? Like, what did this guy do, dog? Like, what's up, you know? And he's like, man, this motherfucker, he just came and he spilled my, you know, and then like he hit me up with that, and like, Like, man, and like, oh, dude, that sucks, man. Like, nah, no, dude, forget that guy, man. Forget that guy. Like, come here, I'll buy you another beer. Come on, let's go. I'll get you a beer, man. We're gonna chill. All right, like it's gonna be cool. Like, forget that guy. You ain't waste your time right now, And if you work it right, you get somebody else who's going and connecting with the other guy, and helping the other guy to decompress the field, right? And then, usually that will work. Now, there's been times when that doesn't work, obviously, and other more drastic things are involved. But you can't just try to like put, lever the energy field from like way over here in the distance. You got to get in there. You got to get involved. You got to get in the middle of the field so that your energy can start to change the dynamics. And if you can if they're clear enough where you can get into a mediation conversation and be like, all right, dude, what happened? Dude, do my thing. He's like, nah, man, I didn't do that. He's like, well, all right, well, it sounds like it's an accident. Like, well, you gonna like fight over the accident or what? And the guy's like, but dude, nah, man, he wasn't an accident. He just spilled my drink and I don't want it. And the other guy's like, I did not do that, man. Get off my block. And I'm like, all right, well, dude, you didn't do it. All right. You didn't do it. So just walk away. Just let it go. Like, he'll get over it. Dude, he didn't mean to do it. You got to get over it. Like, what? Like, you just going to stand here and fight all the time, or you're just going to keep partying? Like, everybody's here to have a good time. You're going to have a good time or not? You want to go home or you want to have a good time? Let's have a good time. Right? And you meet them, you find them in that zone, and you bring them into a place where they're interconnected. All right. Now, so that's like guys fighting, right? That's like kind of intense situation. And there's the other layer where like I had this bro, Chach and John, and they used to pull off some crazy stuff. Like, there's this guy, he was like breaking bottles and he was just going nuts. And what they did is they just straight like got in under his arms and just hugged the dude from both sides, and they just held him. They just hugged him, and he's like, oh, and they just hugged him and just held on to him. And then he started breaking down. He started like crying, and he just released. He let go. They just held him with love for a minute and let him throw a temper tantrum, and then he just came back into himself. Sometimes that's a good way to do it. So, with people that don't have a belief in something, and that I think is what you're really trying to get to, Sean, and I'll read through some of the rest of your question as well. But for people that don't have a belief in something, it's a little challenging to introduce them to something new, because they have an architecture already. They've built a structure, they've built a foundation around like, I feel safe here. This is my zone. This is what I've got down right now. And, your thing, that doesn't look the same. That's over there. That's some liberal BS, whatever. And so they don't know how to let in new information, because if they do, they're afraid it's going to break down their entire system. Well, the truth is the problem is that they're afraid of their entire system breaking down. And the fact is that sometimes new information will actually do that. So it's not that their fears are invalid. It's that they are actually valid to some extent. And that if they did receive the information that, the reality that climate change is occurring, then some of their belief systems may have to actually melt down, fall apart, get back into the nitty gritty roots of things. And they'll have to come back to this place of like actually seeing and acknowledging that, man, they were wrong for a long time. And it was bad. They were really wrong. And now they got to reconcile that. They got to reconcile all the people that they said stuff to. They got to reconcile all the things that they felt. And for some people and some belief systems, they're just not willing to do that. They're just at a point where they just are not really willing to open up that next door. And that's a lot of what's happened, with some of the leaders in our military industrial structure. But the beauty is that, if you can invite someone to be open enough to exploring something that could really help them, that could really change their lives, that could really actually improve their ability to live and do their work in the world, that will bring them more abundance, that will bring them a greater sense of emotional peace or mental peace, then that can be a way in. You know, if you can find the place where people's needs are, and we can address those needs, and we can find a way to help people actually have the practice, the assistance, and the support that they really need to live lives that are more happy, then, you know, then sometimes that's what's needed, and that can help bring people into. So yeah, and you mentioned the counseling support section, and we do have the support link up. It's in the upper right, and there's a FAQ section there. There's a contact form for people to reach out if they have, you know, very specific questions or things that are not getting answered through the site. And we also have the counseling support section at the bottom. And right now, mainly, I'm just trying to work out the time and the agreements with people who are going to be providing the counseling to people here. And there's a few offers that came in with the scholarship applications of people that may want to offer some of that support to the community here. And so I'll be looking into those. And that takes a little bit more due diligence and research. But then those that have, I know for a long time, that are offering these services, it's really just a timing matter of when they're available and when they're ready to begin offering those services. And so I'm working out agreements around that, and we'll definitely let you know, because I agree, counseling and having that mental and emotional support from people is really, really important right now. And that's part of the entire purpose of this community too, is that it's not just an academy to like open up and train you and get you, you know, driving these new principles and practices that to improve your life. It's about the community that is here, because you are all showing up for a reason. You're all here right now at this time for a reason. And, you know, a big part of that is about, you know, getting connected with other people who have the same interest, dedication, and awareness in themselves to go and meet the world. So that meet each other, talk to each other, ask each other questions. That's why there's activity streams. That's why there's these walls in each of the different archetypes. They're meant for you guys to get connected with each other. Now, I know Facebook is all cool and it's the hot thing, and like everybody wants to use Facebook, right? But, you know, Facebook is also just a big, you know, pile of noise sometimes. And so I invite you to spend some time here and connect with each other. Use the site features and get connected with each other. And we'll have more hosted connecting sessions and things like that coming up in Ring 1. And I really look forward to that. And we'll continue doing these free live open Q&As and talks, because I feel like the more we get to know each other, and the more you guys get to ask questions that you need to ask, and you know, have some ideas addressed, and hear these practices in person from me just kind of freestyling off the top of my head over here, that will help, and that'll help us all just kind of get into more coherence and do more of what we're here to do. So do my best to be in service to that. So just to address the rest of your question here, which is a long, amazing paragraph, are we transcending the overly positive and negative blindness that some groups have, allowing compassion to allow us to fully understand situations, to allow us to digest this information for the benefit of all, as into the post-New Age skeptic, to the overly narrowed scientific mind that is still within the structures? I think simple practical solutions in some form of centered realism may be a key. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, it's a tough space that we're in, because I am not here just to do courses on like the practical, you know, day-to-day, like how to succeed in your business, you know, how to launch your website, how to get more traffic, lots more traffic to your website. You know, I could do those courses, but a lot of what we're trying to do here is actually deal with the fact that, like, how to deal with the fact that you can hear spirits talking to you at night, you know, how to deal with the fact that you're a creator of your reality. Okay. How to deal with the fact that, you know, you can have a very, very wide variety of sexual experiences. And how do you deal with the fact that, you know, very occasionally, you know, you have serious alchemical challenges with people of the opposite sex or whoever, you know, whatever your alignment is and partnership is. Like, how do you deal with the universal alchemy? How do you deal with the fears that come up? How do you deal with the anger inside of you for the things that you don't feel like you can change in the world? Like, how do you deal with these metaphysical things? And yeah, practical reality steps, that's the practices, right? That's the, like, you know, get out there and practice some Tai Chi. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up our Chi. We're going to breathe up our spine. We're going to sink the energy in the Dantian. You know, we're going to circulate. We're going to open up our meridians. All right. We're going to clear our mind using this practice. We're going to, like, zero it out. We're going to, like, you got the alchemy problems. All right. Well, you got to tune in. You know, what's the person that you're working with? What's their energy? Is it more masculine or more feminine? Are they giving more? Are they directing more? Or are they receiving and expecting and unknowing and having emotional stuff come up? Is it masculine or feminine? Well, how are you going to engage with that? Are you going to create alchemy? Are you going to meet the feminine with your masculine and hold them and protect them in their place of vulnerability? You know, or are they masculine? Are you going to surrender? Are you going to open up? Are you going to just let your feelings flow? Are you going to let yourself be taken care of? How are you going to work with the alchemy of that? And there are a lot of practical, real approaches to dealing with everything that we're going to cover in this academy. And we are going to cover those practical approaches, and we're going to give you very specific tools for dealing with a variety of different situations. But communicating about all of them and introducing people to the fact that, like, hey, you know, that you might be having a challenge in this area. Well, we've got some solutions to that, and we'd like to help you with that. Are you willing to show up and ask the questions and face the part of yourself that needs to grow in that area? Are you willing to show up and do this with us? That's really the question. Because, you know, you can't force people to change. I can't make the world change. I want to. And I do change the world from the field that I generate and from the experiences and connections that come into my life and how I arrange the dynamics of how my energy interacts with space-time. I change the world in that way. But in each person, they have to choose, or they have to be open enough to allow themselves to shift and to change and to step up into the next level inside themselves. They got to do that inside themselves. I can't do that for them. So, you know, it's good to be an ambassador. And if you're going to get out there and you're going to call people in and you're going to help change the world and change the flow and change people's lives, then you got to help them begin to change themselves. You got to help them see themselves first. And that's going to make the difference. Okay. Thanks so much for the awesome, awesome question, Sean, and getting me talking and going off for a long time. So looks like Sister GD, journey of transformation is long and arduous. Yeah, it is. Welcome so much, Sister GD, and you're so very welcome. And I'm so glad that you're here connecting with us. And Chris, yeah, you know, the everyday struggle gets all of us. It's all of us. It's not, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't, you know, every day has its challenges. And, you know, even if you're Buddha, you're going to wake up in the morning and part of you is going to decide, am I going to eat that grain of rice today or not? That's your challenge. It's little, it's big, it's little, it's big, but it might have to do with everything in the universe. It's as if the entire flow of existence will be changed based on, do you eat the grain of rice or do you not today? Life is full of it, you know. Life is full of so many choice moments that, you know, can take us in any direction. And And so it's important to develop practices of reflection and engagement with each day. I'll give you another sort of key practice that's really helped me a lot. One of the things that I like to do is at night before I go to bed, I just get out everything that's kind of just there, bubbling up in my creative field, and I create tasks. One of my favorite new tools is Trello. And with Trello, you can just create these different boards and add different tasks to the boards, and it's just very, very easy task organization structure. And so I have boards that have these different lists, and so I'll just go into the backlog, my upcoming list, and I'll just add all the things that are coming up in my mind, everything that I think that I need to do, and I just put them all in there. And then once I get them all out, it's like my mind is like, okay, now there's space. Now I'm ready to just go into the unconscious. Now I'm ready to go into the lucid space of the dream time. Um, and it helps decompress a lot of things. And then when I wake up in the morning, there's a couple ways that I can deal with my morning wake up. Like, I don't want to get out of bed, is like, well, one is like, if I'm going to get out of bed, what am I getting out of bed for? So if I have something good that I want to get out of bed for, if there's something that I'm going to get up to do today, like this is going to be my day, I'm going to get up, I'm going to rock it, I'm going to do this. And I have this idea of that, of like, oh yeah, I remember I was going to like do this today, and this is going to be what today is about, and a part of it anyway. And I have that, then it adds fuel, to my morning. And sometimes I'll just lay there when I first wake up and I just meditate on that. I'm like, what is today going to bring me? What is today about for me? How am I going to engage today in the best way that I can? And if I take that little moment with myself, that little bit of time with myself, and maybe in the shower, maybe do a little Tai Chi or meditation, that little ground setting, that little connecting in with myself before I pick up my phone, before I go into internet worlds, and before whatever communications meetings, if I have that little space for myself, it improves my dynamic with my day dramatically. I find that I'm just more calm, more present, more full of energy, and just clearer emotionally. I'm just ready to show up a lot more deeply. So hopefully that'll help you out a little bit, Chris. And yeah, this community is shaping up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Are there any other questions that you guys have about the Guardian Alliance, about the Academy, about the courses? Are you guys signed up for Ring 1? Are you here? Are you coming in? Are you sticking with us through Ring 1? Let me know. Post me a comment, like put it on there. Let's see. I think we have another Q&A box. Let's see. Oh, that one is disabled. So yeah, let's see if there's any other questions. We only got a few more minutes. Oh yeah, we only got a few more minutes. So I tell you what, if you got another question, you want to respond to one of those things I just asked, put it on there and I'll cover it before I shut it down. But since it's about 2:55, how time flies, I'm going to go ahead and do this practice with you guys because I think you're going to like it. And it's deeply related to the work that we've been doing today. And it's a practice that I consider part of the universal library. And just so you guys know, we're going to be having a section of the site that's not just dedicated to one of these 6 archetypes. It's the universal library, which is the place where I'm going to share more teachings about the unified harmonic matrix. I'm going to share more about chakra systems and about the gene keys and the I Ching. It's a place where we're going to be doing some teachings about universal systems that we can use to engage and understand the metaphysics and the archetypes of reality that we're experiencing. So I can't wait to share some of that with you guys, and I'll probably put this practice in there as well. So find yourself, take a deep breath, let the silence fill your ears for a moment. And begin by just feeling gravity. Let the weight of your body just be pulled down. Feel how your feet and your legs are pulled to the ground, your pelvis, your chest, your shoulders, and your arms. If you're sitting, let your head be suspended from above. Let it sit right on top of your spine. And just feel as if your whole body is hanging from a thread that goes up from the very top of your head. And just feel the pull of gravity on your arms and your legs, on your viscera, your skin. And just breathe and let gravity pull you down. This is the resistance. This is what we eat for. This is what we drink for. To build energy, to be able to hold our bodies together in the face of the gravity that is pulling us down. If we surrendered all the way to it all the time, we might just lay on the ground and do nothing. That's what we're afraid of. But it is not keeping us from ourselves. It is the gravity that anchors us in the ground. Feel yourself let go. Feel yourself release into the gravitational field of this planet and let it pull you down into the core. Where is that force coming from in the earth? Feel down. Is it under the ground? Is it deep under the crust? Is it deep down beneath the mantle, the churning, hot fire and rock? Feel your awareness move all the way to the point where this gravity comes from. This force that is holding you to this planet. This force that gives us upright bodies, roots of trees holding in the ground, water falling. Flow like water now and let yourself sink down deep, deep, deep into the cracks inside the earth. And find your way all the way down into the core, where it's hotter and brighter and more solid and more and more and more, till you feel that place where the gravity begins in the earth. From that place, just feel how your body feels once you're connected to that point. Feel that point as if you're sitting right on it, as if your body is directly on that spot, that connection point, that center of the earth, because you are feeling your connection directly to it through the earth. And now feel from that point, feel the moon. Can you feel the moon's orbit around that point? How it pulls slightly on the gravitational field of the center of the planet. Feel it in your low belly, down in your sacral chakra, your lunar plexus. Feel the moon in your belly being pulled towards the earth that you're sitting on. Feel the wave and the dance and the water inside of you. Feel the peace of that cycle, of that wave, its constancy, its life force, its pulse. And relax even deeper. Where is the center of the earth and the moon system pulled to? Where is gravity pulling on them? And feel deeper through the core of the moon and the earth, all the way to the core of the sun. Feel the sun holding the moon and the earth, and feel it in your upper belly, your solar plexus. Feel that place in your belly holding the gravity of the earth that you're sitting on, connecting in with your root. Feeling the moon and its cycles held in that field. And feel the sun as your body radiating light out, shining like your mind. All of your ideas, all of your feelings, all of your body are like planets orbiting around this solar awareness. Just notice what's in your field of your mind. Notice what's all around you. Take it in and breathe it in deeply into the sun that's holding and caring for it all. And now sink deeper. What is holding the sun? Feel your way as you sink down deep into the galactic center. Sink all the way in and let your heart come to merge with the merging grandmother of the galaxy. Feel her taking in all of the stars, all the people, all the ideas in your life, everyone. She's bringing them all together. Just feel in the center of your heart that central Hunab Ku, that place of union, that place that embraces everyone and everything, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter where they come from, no matter what they believe. They're all eventually going to find their way into this singularity, into this place of union. Just feel that in your heart. Good. Breathe with it. Now what's holding that grandmother? Tune in to the galactic cluster that our galaxy is flowing through, the giant great heavens of Laniakea. Feel our Virgo cluster uniting together, flowing around one central field of gravity. It's like a connecting force, streaming information between galactic systems, sharing not only all of the ideas of all the stars and all the energies inside those galaxies, but the field of their wholeness and connection with each other, the galaxies as a whole. Feel the connection to Laniakea in your throat. Feel as if your body is a shining star, your heart is a galactic center, and your communication, your listening and your receiving is happening across vast spans of space, carried to other people, other beings. Feel the acceptance of the fact that whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you are always in communication with everything else around you. You are constantly receiving information. You are constantly evolving. Every time you make a new cell in your body, every time a chromosome splits, you are making a copy, and you are developing the information and the awareness that makes you up as who you are. Breathe into your throat now. Really feel it. And make a sound. Oh. Yeah. What is holding all of that communication? What is holding our whole galactic cluster together? Surrender even deeper, sink even further, and let your third eye touch the core of the universe itself. What is the one organizing factor of this whole universe that we live in? What is the center? What holds everything in wholeness? Let your third eye embrace it. Let yourself just see that you are the wholeness. The universe is inside of you. Every cell, every tissue, every organ are star systems and galaxies expressing themselves. Your body's matter and mass is the stuff of stars. You have energy and information inside of you from galaxies and stars all over the universe. You are the universe. See it and accept it. The flow of all time is who you are. And then sink even deeper. What is beyond the universe? Surrender to the mystery. Breathe it in. Feel it flow through you. You don't have to know. Relax the question. Just feel it. Just know that you do not know. And accept that it's okay. You're here. Welcome. Just let that infinite, eternal mystery of all that is cascade down, nourishing the universe that you are, nourishing your voice. Make a sound. Yum, nourishing your belly. Nourishing your emotions, nourishing the sun and the moon, nourishing the earth that is your body. Let it all in and anchor it down. And feel your heart at the center of it all. And give thanks, give gratitude, give love, give it to life, give it up. I am so thankful for being here right now. Say that to yourself. Just thank yourself for being here right now. I am so thankful to be here right now. Yes. Welcome, Jedi. May your Jed be ever strong and shining. May you know who you are, and may you walk the world in grace and in love. Thank you for being here. Aloha.